Um, According to Sports Illustrated, Luke Fickell at Wisconsin, Mike Norvell at Florida State, Hugh Freeze at Auburn. I don't agree that he's on the hot seat, but maybe he is because he just got there. Jonathan Smith at Michigan State. They just lost to Michigan again. And then Bill Belichick at UNC. I don't think I fully agree with that one
I
either.
don't agree with that one. He just got there.
But you've got several coaches at some decent programs, or could be decent programs: Kentucky, Wisconsin, Florida State, Auburn, Michigan State, UNC, and according to Sports Illustrated, those guys are potentially on the hot seat. What do you think about not just the coaches who've been fired, but the coaches who can't sit down because their seat's so hot?
I don't think Bill Belichick's should be hot. He just got there, and it's not like the NFL where you can just go in and make trades and free agents halfway through the season. It's not fair to put Bill Belichick on there. He hasn't had a chance, as far as I know, he hasn't had a chance to even go into the transfer portal or the recruiting portal or the recruiting process. So I don't think that's fair to him. But yeah, all those other guys are definitely on their hot seat for sure. Especially Mike Norvell of Florida State. You start the season off what 3-0, and then have they gone the last 4 without a win?
Well, yeah. They've only got 3 wins, and they're second to last in the ACC.
So yeah,
Last year they only won 2 games. After being a quote unquote snub in the 4 there for the playoff. But not only that, like Jeremiah, this has ripple effects because if you're one of these major programs, so you recruit nationally, you don't just recruit your state, you recruit nationally. Now you add the portal, NIL and all those things. This is going to cost you in recruiting because the kid's not going to come to a situation that's not stable. Kid's not going to come play for a coach who's not there. So these ADs are taking a big gamble, about, as far as firing my coach at LSU, firing my coach at Florida, Penn State, in the middle of the season, because that's going to have ripple effects on the off season if you can't get the right guy in there and you approach the off season with question marks, because these kids want to play and they want to play now.
I agree. Because at all these, especially at the 3 big schools that have lost their coaches, Florida, LSU, Penn State. At all 3 of those schools, whenever you go in there to coach, you're expected to be ranked top 15 every year. You're expected to at least be ranked every year. Not recently with Florida, but you're expected to be like with LSU and Penn State. You're expected to have kids in the Heisman talks midway through the season. You're expected to be in the playoffs. You're expected to be dangerous. You're expected to be conference champions. You're national championship favorites every year. It was the same thing with I told my friend this from North Dakota last night. With Brian Kelly, every year he's been there, LSU's come in ranked top 10, top 5 with big expectations. But what happens by what week are we in? By week 8, week 9, well, more of like week 6 maybe, halfway through the season, LSU just disappears completely off the map, and Brian Kelly is like, it's not on me, it's on everybody else who has something to do with this program. And so I was thinking he's not going to be here much longer. Then with James Franklin in Penn State, for example, you got to win big games if you're at Penn State. Same thing with Billy Napier. You got a young Florida team. You're supposed to at least be ranked right now. And you have DJ Lagway, and at the beginning of the season, I was thinking Florida was going to be good and DJ Lagway was going to be good. But then Billy Napier and DJ Lagway, it hasn't gone that way so far this year. So I think with all of these coaches that are getting fired by these big programs, it's just a lot of pressure. But I don't think the pressure got to these coaches. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Napier's following guys like Urban Meyer and Spurrier and playing there at the Swamp. But I do think to a degree the pressure did get to him. Can you imagine the pressure day in, day out of leading a program of that caliber with that expectation every single day? And at the end of the day, like, we have to remember too, like, these are college kids. These are young men, and just lost their coach. Who is even going to be on these teams next year when the transfer portal opens?